I think this is the intro. This is it. This is us starting. This is me deciding that we're ready now because I've never had a consistent intro for this thing. I've always done it differently each time. But yeah, this is it. This is the start of the episode. This is being recorded.
Hello?
What you can hear me, right? You heard all of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
just confused as
Yeah,
to the
I
sheer
did.
unprofessionalism. Anyway, this is the deep end.
Well, I'm used to it with you by now, but
Oh my God, what is this internet? You're lagging. I'm lagging. I think everything's lagging. I hate.
I think it's
I
your
think it's my internet, yeah. I hate the university Wi-Fi so much. It sucks. Um, like it took 45 minutes to download a game the other day. That was ridiculous. Anyway, here we are. Who are
our favorite,
you?
right?
Who are you? Why are you here? Who are you? Explain yourself.
So I'm Mateja. Uh, it's a a Serbian name you have. It's not pronounced with a J. It's pronounced with it's like a Y. Mateja Stojcic, and I'm Alex's friend. I studied and am going to continue studying uh, art, animation, and the visual effects for film. I uh, and I teach kids English in my spare time.
You're a teacher, an English. How old are these kids that you're teaching? Like, what year group are these
Well,
guys?
it actually depends. I mean, from they're usually pretty young, um, but I can teach them. I can teach anywhere from like for first grade to fourth grade of high school.
Uh,
But
uh,
I
wait,
mean, first grade,
what age group is that first?
preschool to fourth grade of high school. That's what I mean.
What is fourth grade of high school? What age is that?
Well, so age is like it's it doesn't really the age doesn't really matter. It mainly matters the level of English.
Okay, so
So
you're just teaching everyone.
their vocabulary. Yeah, yeah. I just teach everyone.
Yeah,
But I usually do get the teenagers and young kids.
okay, I used to do back when I was in high school, we had to do like side like we had to do, I don't know, like volunteering stuff, and I was doing this thing where I was teaching ICT, so like computer science to like
Okay.
maybe 7 or 8 year olds, maybe six, maybe even five, and they sucked. I hated them. I hated them so much. They were horrible,
Well,
horrible, horrible people. And I I'm glad that I don't do that anymore because that just sucked. But how do you find that?
for me, it's actually quite relaxing. I'm not going to lie. It was like, it's like my little safe haven. To be fair, um, I really enjoy teaching kids, but they can be little shits. To be fair,
True.
they
Yeah.
kids can be fucking evil, man.
Tr
And
yeah.
but you, it's always good to know that you are in a place that doesn't really allow that. That really has your back and doesn't allow the kids to just run amok, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I remember one of the things was that we were doing with like teaching kids computer science. It was we were teaching them like Scratch Junior, right? Which is like not it's super easy, right? But uh they were having to like make this sort of like animation thing in Scratch.
Yeah.
And part of that was they were having to color in the different, I get not quite models, but the different PNGs that they would use in the animation. And they all, refuse to do anything except continually color in the whole time. And to be fair, I mean, they're children coloring in, they're going to enjoy that. But um, at the same time, it's like you gotta, you at a certain point, it was just difficult to ever keep the kids on track.
I mean, yeah, that's part of the job. If nobody really gives to, not if nobody really cares about what you teach, then it isn't really enjoyable for anybody.
Yeah,
It's just like it's a pain for you. They're bored. You have to kind of entertain them, kind of give them like a motivation to care about your subject.
I just,
Uh,
I just
for me, it's
realized,
like it's good. It's good because it's private tutoring, so they don't go unless they actually want to learn, or their parents want to learn, which is most often the case.
yeah.
Uh, but I've actually had mostly positive interactions with kids in general, and and some adults. I actually generally prefer teaching kids because yes, they're easier to handle, but it's the adults are easier to handle, but it's the kind of like
So I guess the adults understand why they're doing it. They're not being forced into it by their parents, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. It's much easier to stoop down to a kid's level, and then you have to reset your tact to go to be an adult in a fucking kid's place, you know.
Yeah,
So the I like teaching kids. They call me Mr. Potter.
because you look like Harry
They're
Potter or you dress like that.
no, 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 because I look like so. They used to call me that, and we always have we have some little events. The school is really nice in general, but we have like little events. Sometimes the boss will just like bring some stuff. We'll do a bit of reading. We will try vocabulary. I don't do that much grammar because it requires extra a little bit of extra preparation, and you have it's for grammar. It's a very specific program you have to follow when it comes to kids because otherwise you have to get it. You have to get it stuck in there for them. You have to stick it in.
Yeah,
Otherwise they just won't remember anything because grammar is the boring part.
true. Yeah, I mean, vocabulary is also it's easier because you're sort of encountering that all the time. Everything you
Yeah,
see is vocabulary. Grammar is, especially some of the niche situational bits of, I don't want to say tech, like it's a video game, but like, uh, you know, um, like in German,
you kind
it's
of
it's
have.
always it's always tough to remember, like this one random word is that it has this gender attached to it, and uh, and then depending on whatever weird situational other words you're using in the sentence, you have to figure out how to conjugate it. It's weird. Grammar's always tough.
You have to kind of make it like a game for them as well. It is basically a game. Otherwise, but it's also a very stupid game. It's an unfair game because you will try to generalize a rule, but there will always be some little exception that is like, that comes in most languages really. You try you try to teach a rule, but then there is always like 2 to 3 words that don't fit the rule, and you kind of have
Oh,
to.
there's
Yeah, this is the rule,
yeah, there's so many exceptions.
but these words are kind of like just a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
And these don't follow. Just remember these words. Everything else, you follow the formula or the game. I really like my students because I mean I can banter with them a bit, uh, and they are you gotta stoop down to their level. So you kind of have to match their energy. So when I'm in the rowdy group, I joke that I joke with the rowdiest ones that I'll throw them out the window.
Jesus. Yeah.
I mean, we're on the ground floor, so even if I did, like, he would just land on his feet, and it wouldn't even. It I can jump. I can't jump out of the window. It's not even any height. It's just the concept of throwing him out through the window, not through the front door. But it does usually get a laugh, and they it does kind of shut them up a little bit because they I'm not sure if they know I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, you would hope that they do. But yeah, so as you said, you are from Serbia. Interesting place. And you're
Interesting place, a
and
different
you're
con.
and you're studying to for what, computer graphics or something. What is it
You
specifically
can
that
put it
you're
that
working
way. Yeah.
towards? Computer graphics, then. Is there a large industry for that in Serbia?
Actually, yeah, there is. I mean, it's a developing industry in Serbia. The graphics. I'm studying for animation, game art, and visual effects for film. So basically, the CGI stuff you see in Avatar, which is mainly a CGI film, not a very good one. I don't know.
What, as in the film isn't
Everybody.
good or the CGI isn't good?
No, no, no. The CGI is amazing, but it is not a movie. It's CGI. It's basically a glorified animation.
Well, yeah, isn't that the point of it?
Not no, no, not really. So CGI is really good only when you don't notice it. That's when you know that the CGI and visual effects artists did a really good job because you didn't notice it. Avatar, I mean, Avatar, does have amazing CGI. It's like you create this fantasy world, you turn it into reality, but everything else is lacking, and it costs a mountain to make, mountain of money,
Yeah.
endless stacks and stacks for not only into the first one, but into the sequel as well. And I don't think there is anybody on this in this world that will tell you, yes, Avatar is my favorite movie.
That's true. I mean, it's the first one is the highest grossing film of all time, but I distinctly remember until the sequels came out and obviously sort of refreshed its cultural relevance. I remember the fact that like everybody would joke that even though it's the highest grossing film of all time, nobody could tell you the name of the main character from Avatar or even the name of the bad. I can't. I'm pretty sure the guy's is the main guy's name like Jake Sully, I think. Yeah, the main guy's name is Jake Sully, but
Uh,
I only heard about that. I only learned his name from people talking on social media about the sequels. Every other character in the film, in all of the film, I haven't even seen the sequels because I kind of don't care at all. But every other character in the film, I couldn't name you. Compared to Titanic, I can tell you the names of the two main characters, Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, or the people that's Jack and Rose, right? Or like
yeah.
you can obviously the Avengers films are easier because they're like just they have like code names and stuff. But Avatar has like no cultural relevance at all. The most the thing I think of first when I think of Avatar is the fact that the logo for the franchise is just the font Papyrus from just that one Saturday Night Live skit, you know.
I never noticed it. Hold up. Can I see
Yeah, it's
Avatar?
the if you go to Microsoft Word and you just type the word avatar in the font Papyrus, you get the logo for the Avatar franchise.
I mean that kind of sums it up really. It is a fucking it is a papyrus font in its existence.
Yeah,
Everybody
and then
everybody knows it, but it's never been used for anything significant.
yeah, and then
But
like for the sequel they changed it so it's Avatar in Papyrus, but the font has been bolded because I guess they thought people wouldn't pick up on the fact that it's literally just bold.
well, they had to make it similar to the first one. That's usually what they do with the sequel. They have to make the logo or the text, the titles, in a similar manner. But the interesting thing about it is it does actually have cultural relevance, and that is because of the CGI. The CGI really did push it. They did really push CGI, if I'm correct, with the movie. I think it was the one of the first movies that was basically done entirely in post production,
Seriously.
if not the first. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is nothing really. I think it's just all green screens. I'm not an Avatar fan, so don't take my word that
I don't think
as
anyone is.
facts. But yeah, fair enough. But it's basically entirely made in post production. So it had to have impressive visual effects for it to even be remotely significant for the budget it was made in. And I'm not even going to get into my personal opinions on James Cameron. I don't think that guy is. I'm going to put it lightly. I do not like him. I think he's a moron.
What you don't like? What, like his movies suck?
Yeah, his movies suck, and I'll give you just an example. So he basically touches up on uh, history of what's the name? The natives of Americans. It's basically an Avatar is basically a retelling of the story of natives in America. Uh, but he just asked, well, why did they fight back?
Huh.
And it's obvious why they didn't because of the technology, and they
Yeah.
did. They just got slaughtered. That's the
Oh yeah.
problem. So and the plot is written so stupidly. So one of the main characters, I think the love interest, is called Neytiri, like native,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
and
get it.
it's like it it's a facepalm because it's very surface level. He has very surface level understanding of the topic he makes in his movies, and but he didn't do it to make it like deep or anything. He just really wanted to make hot blue aliens.
Damn. But yeah, so I guess then if you become a computer graphics guy, you are not going to be working for James Cameron.
Um,
Unless they throw a fat
if
check your way. You know.
if they if they do throw me a fat check my way, then that means I've done something extremely right to
Yeah.
be that good. It would be if anybody who worked on the Avatar movie for the visual effects should be proud of themselves. Their accomplishment should not be taken lightly at all, but it's just kind of I would prefer to work on movies that have intrinsic value more than Hollywood massive budget slop.
I mean, I love movies like where they are very clearly using like all of those movies from like the 80s or I think some from the 70s or late 90s where they are you clearly I prefer practical effects. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I prefer Jurassic Park, some of the stuff they've got in Alien or The Thing where it is
The thing,
a physical object.
the thing.
That always, in my opinion, no matter how good CGI is, practical effects always look so much better.
Yeah, that is true, but they had to be replaced because it was cheaper. Uh,
Yeah.
I I love the thing. I love the thing. The thing is one of my favorite movies, and I think and my favorite horror movie. Uh, it did cause a whole. It did allude to the whole Red Scare propaganda at the time, incidentally, actually, but
Isn't The Thing
uh,
a remake of a much older film?
it's a it's not a remake of a much old. Which version are you talking about? There is a
I remember there being, I thought it was The Thing. I remember there being a particularly classic horror film that was actually like a remake,
I think it's I think it's
where
from
like the original was from
the
like,
thing from outer space,
okay, so
or the
it's
thing
not a
from
remake
another
then.
world. It's
Oh,
not a
okay,
remake. I think it was from a book. I think the thing
oh,
from
okay,
outer space.
okay, yeah,
Uh, but yeah, it did allude to the whole Red Scare propaganda. But as I was saying, CGI can be really well. It can be really well made. It can be done really well so that it's not noticeable. So one of the movies that actually won an award for what's the name for visual effects, not practical effects. Practical effects. They practical. I watched a documentary on practical effects, and they used to be the people that did those used to be like rock stars back then, and then CGI replaced them. There's a really interesting documentary. I'll try to find it later for you.
yeah. I remember
Uh,
like I still love the Guillermo del Toro does a lot of work with miniatures and stop motion. Miniatures, if like you know, Lord of the Ring, like that's not Guillermo del Toro, but like in Lord of the Rings, where they've
uh,
got the massive city and that's a miniature. I love that.
yeah. I mean, for Pinocchio, the new Pinocchio, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I really love it, and the claymation is always amazing. I love claymation as well. It's a breath of fresh air. But as I was saying, and then I got distracted, which is a common occurrence for me. One of the practical effects movies that did win an award was Forrest Gump. Now, have you
Re
watched Forrest Gump,
I've seen Forrest
Alex?
Gump, but I'm not quite sure when would they have necessarily needed. Obviously, well, I can only really think of one scene where they needed effects at all, and that was when he's running through the Vietnamese jungle and there's a bunch of explosions. But it's not a
Yeah,
very
exactly. But
effects heavy film.
it isn't because it isn't noticeable. Example for when Forrest is in front of that big crowd.
When is he in front of him?
So
Oh, in Washington where he gives the speech.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So they only had a small section of people there, and they had to compile visually so that it looks like the crowd is full, basically all around. I think if I remember correctly, the fountain or
Yeah.
the
It's more of a, yeah, the pond, it's like the Washington
yeah,
Pond.
the pond.
Yeah. The national. It's called the National Mall. Yeah, the National Mall is the big, is that big area. Yeah,
Yeah, and you would never have guessed that it was used. I mean, if you don't know, of course, because that's when not practical effects, CGI and visual effects are what I believe is the optimal use for them. So that some stuff is made more easily. But the problem with it is it often is used as a shortcut for people that don't think. So, for example, I was told this story on about from a friend of mine. Basically, the department for filmmaking on the college I'm trying to attend.
yeah.
They were making like a not a war movie, but I don't remember exactly, but they had to use guns. And so they use those guns, but after the filming, they asked the visual department from every scene if they could erase from the fake guns the "Made in China"
Oh my
uh,
God.
tag,
How ob
and
jeez.
it does,
How obvious were
and it
those
takes actually
tags
a
on
lot
fake
of.
guns?
Well, they're pretty obvious, they're pretty noticeable, and it ruins the immersion
Okay.
if somebody notices it. But here's the thing. It would take a lot of time. It is manageable. It would take a lot of time in practical effects, but it would take significantly less time if they just used a lighter and burned the fake plastic guns, the tag
Yeah.
that was said made in China.
Yeah, but I guess it's more
And
to
it's
do with the price of getting all of the actors back and all the camera dudes back. Like it would have been cheap. Like yeah, it would have been cheaper to just fix the guns before they filmed the scene. But now that they've already filmed the
yeah,
scene, it's cheaper to just use CGI.
yeah,
Yeah,
probably. But but that's what I mean. They don't really think when they're in advance. They thought that it's just that it basically practical effects is just like magic. It covers up anything you don't want, and so you just use it as a hack instead of a tool.
yeah. Or not. It's not even a tool at this point. It's become more of a crutch. Where
Yes, a crutch.
we don't know how to do this. Oh, let's just do it in like some of these Marvel movies now. Jeez.
You know,
Like famously there's that one shot in the Black Widow film, which to be fair, like barely anyone's seen, where she sort of hits something and then like gets launched upwards and backwards, and it's horrible. I hate how it's, and then you see the behind the scenes ones, and in some of the older films, they're on practical sets. And you know, look, I love Jon Favreau's movies. He's a great director. I really loved him in Chef. But the fact that he's also part of the problem now, when he used to be like this up and coming indie filmmaker, and now they say pioneering technology, and it's not CGI, but they like on some of these Star Wars shows, they've got these massive sound stages with just screens behind them to show the location, and it's like really you couldn't like you're Disney, you can't afford to film on location in a desert anymore. What's going on? It feels like filmmaking is losing a lot of its artistic integrity in the name of the bottom line.
yeah, it's used as a crutch, and people that use it don't really think of consequences. The consequences, basically, they see it as the movie may look bad now. It may look like a total ass, but
Yeah,
it will fix it. It will fix it in post production. It'll look good in after post production. When movies didn't really used to be that way. If it doesn't look good at the start, you don't really run with it. Not at the start, but after you film it.
yeah, yeah.
And I think, do you, for example, have you seen? what's his name? The actor for Gandalf.
Oh yeah, there's that famous clip where he
I
is in front of
Yeah,
only green screens and he just like loses his shit because
he doesn't lose his shit. He starts
or
crying
he's more
because
just depressed.
it used to be immersive.
Yeah, like compare that to the first.
It's just a subtle realization.
Yeah, like compare that to
It
the Lord of the Rings films where they flew everyone out to New Zealand and they were filming on actual mountains and doing that. And then when they made I think that's part of the like you could tell The Hobbit wasn't made with as much care as the Lord of the Rings trilogy was.
Yeah, it was made to,
Make
well,
money.
they probably just it yes they but people that made it were probably fans of the original Lord of the Ring. They wanted
Oh
to
no, they
work on
were,
it,
except they
and
clearly just
but
didn't care as much, or they didn't have as much say as to how much they can
I
give the project.
I agree with I don't think it was that much that they could say, because at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line
Yeah,
in the
and
industry.
it's so unfortunate because the Lord of the Rings trilogy made so much money as well. Like, surely they would have seen like how much did they the Lord of the Rings trilogy had a collective budget of 281 million US dollars and they grossed over 3 billion. That's way that that's a hell of a lot of money. Com- But then
Yeah,
so but then when they made The Hobbit, it's like, oh yeah, we know we can't like what was the budget for The Hobbit?
I
Um
can't tell you off the top of my head.
oh
I
apparent
haven't watched The
oh
Hobbit
actually
because I didn't
actually
care about The
apparently
Hobbit.
The Hobbit trilogy is was even more expensive. Well, I don't know where the money went because it doesn't.
CGI,
It,
CGI technology.
I guess.
It feels like modern production movies are just massive money laundering schemes at this point. And it's not even, as you can see, Lord of the Rings original was like it's immersive for the actors. It's the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
and you get a much better performance out of everyone
Yeah, exactly.
when the actors are into it, you know. And as much as I hate how pretentious actors are, like yeah, obviously if they're in a physical location and they are seeing physical things to interact with and immerse them, then they can get better into character.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so
And
sorry, what you saying?
now I was just
Uh
saying, so it's much easier to act when you have real objects and the real feel of the place, and not just of green boxes and walls around you. It's kind of like a you lose yourself. You feel the dissonance. You remember how it once was, and now it's just what the movie industry has come to, and it
yeah.
feels really lazy at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
I mean Hollywood in general is just kind of it just kind of sucks. Like there was an interview with Matt Damon where he talks about how when you're making a movie for Netflix, they will keep telling you, look, you need to every once in a while you need to have everyone in a room together and you need to reiterate exactly what the plot is because most people aren't watching the film, they've just got it on their phone. And if they get so far into the film without knowing what's going on, they're just going to give up and they're going to stop watching, and then we're losing money. But if they are staying engaged, even if they're not engaged, if they are still sort of passively intertwined with it, and the only way to do that is again just keep reiterating the plot, then the film, according to Netflix's metrics, works much better. Like cinema is dying, you know. Like and even some of the old
It
directors who used to make good films, like Martin Scorsese, like I went to the cinema to watch Killers of the Flower Moon, and that was garbage. That film sucked. I I think I spent like £15 or £10 on a ticket to watch that piece of shit film. It just sucked. I think it was something like 3.5 hours long, and it just wasn't interesting. And I genuinely, when they brought out Brendan Fraser, who's in the film, I nearly cried because I'm like, oh God, I thought the film was about to end. But because they're just bringing out the guy, because they're just bringing out Brendan Fraser, and he literally just won the Oscar for Best Actor, I know that there's got to be at least another hour left in this fucking thing now. It just sucked. It just compare like Killers of the Flower Moon to, let's say, um one of like Goodfellas, where every shot, every sequence is tight, where it's necessary, where it's advancing. It's either advancing the plot or it's advancing our understanding of why the plot is happening. The Killers of the Flower Moon just sucks so much, and I hate it. It is a
Killers of the
bad.
Flower Moon isn't.
It's a bad
Killers of the
movie.
Flower Moon isn't. I don't think. I don't. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it. I've heard good things about it. I
I it.
want.
I'm pretty sure it
I
got
don't think everybody
nominated for Best
would agree with
Picture,
this.
and yeah, it got nominated for Best Picture, I think. And I think that the people who nominated it should be ashamed of himself.
Ah, well,
Yeah,
at this, it's kind of like just fighting subjective opinions. I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you whether you're right or wrong. But
yeah,
what I can tell you is most of the time, the yeah, nominations are really bullshit.
yeah,
First of all, I don't like him, but if it's as an interesting as you say it is, I don't think that it would the general public would find it that appealing.
yeah.
Obviously, there are movies that where you just kind of you see who it was made for. Martin Scorsese is classic, but I think a better like
He's a what?
example
Sorry,
is
you cut out for a
one
bit.
movie that I hate. I mean, he's a classic film director, like a
Yeah,
household name.
absolutely.
Uh, uh, One better example is, for example, Megalopolis.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't even considered watching
uh,
that because it's all I've heard is that like I've seen the clips, I've seen certain clips of it, but it's one of those things where if I'm going to watch a movie, I want to watch. Look, every once in a while, I will watch a film. I've watched certain films like The Room or Who Killed Captain Alex, which are like so bad it's good type of films. But I don't like the, and from what I've heard about Megalopolis, it's in the same vein as like the Justice League or pretty much every single DC movie other than Man of Steel and the new Superman. Oh, well, excluding like, the Christian Bale Batman films, but every film that was made by DC to be part of a cinematic universe normally sucks. Um,
yeah,
so it feels like, from what I've look, either there's a movie that's so good it's obviously good, like Goodfellas. There's a movie that's so bad
yeah,
it's good, like The Room or Who Killed Captain Alex. Then you have that middle where a film is just boring and I don't want to watch those movies. That is films like, and for some reason, the first ones that always come to mind are the DC ones because they all are always just bad. I'm thinking Justice League. I'm thinking Birds of Prey. The original the original Suicide Squad does have meme moments where I'm like, oh my god, I can't, I can't believe somebody wrote the line. What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? And Will Smith agreed to say that. but but
oh god.
But in general, those movies I don't want to watch the films, and so I've never gotten around to watching Make a Loveless.
Every in every pretentious movie circle, you will tell you Marvel movies suck.
I like well some of the more recent the first few Marvel movies. We're talking Iron Man one.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
the Iron Man one is fantastic. The first two Captain America films are I mean, Captain America one was they did a great job at doing an actual period piece. You know, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, that's a good one. The first two Ant-Man films are great.
yeah.
Um, Infinity War and Age of Ultron, as objective films, they're okay, but as films which are following up every other film in the Marvel Universe, they do fantastic. Black Panther, overrated. Black Panther 2, overhated. Right? They're both just mediocre. The Thor films, Thor Ragnarok was like a solid 7, and the rest of them suck. But yeah, look, Marvel movies get a bad rap because a lot of them are just kind of mid and are only enjoyable because it's like, oh, I remember that guy. But it look, I
I don't
I
remember
think
who.
they get a bad rap because it's a franchise. You can do a franchise and have it be good, but which Marvel
Yeah,
originally started as. But recently, it hasn't been that.
I think it was actually speaking of Scorsese, he said that Marvel movies aren't cinema, and he has a quote. I mean, obviously, you associate fucking Scorsese with the picture of absolute cinema at this point. Uh, but but when you think about what movies are, uh, what he meant was they aren't cinema; they're like theme parks. So when you watch a movie, you're supposed to not just engage yourself, not just find a distraction, but find some meaning with it within it. Find find a topic that lets you think. Uh, gives you some value outside of the experience of watching the movie. Marvel movies don't give you that. You watch them and then you forget them. You do not receive any value from it after you watch the movie. There is nothing. There is no. You do not take anything into your life from it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, a lot of films, not every film needs to be Raging Bull. Again, I don't know why I'm specifically thinking of Scorsese films here, but not every film needs to be Raging Bull. Not every
Yeah.
film needs to be Manchester by the Sea. Okay, every once in a while, I want to watch Wedding Crashers. Okay, Wedding Crashers is an incredible film. Or I want to watch The Internship, another great movie. Uh, I want to watch anything with Vince Vaughn and or Owen Wilson and or Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Maybe the occasional Luke Wilson can do a decent job sometimes, and maybe Paul Rudd. But I want to watch something with one of those guys. I don't need to see something that got nominated for 5 Academy Awards when I can see Bradley Cooper absolutely maul Vince Vaughn at Thanksgiving football. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes comedy is good because if everybody's trying to be depressed all the time, then what's the point? You know, the meaning
Oh,
of life is the pursuit of happiness and not the movie because that one is just sad. And I get that it's an objectively good film, but that's
there
not the
isn't
type of thing you want to
just
watch all the time. You know?
there isn't just emotional value in sadness. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah, but
happiness you feel from
yeah,
watching a movie.
all I'm saying is it shouldn't be every single film. Sadness only works, and also comedy only works when you have the other to balance it out.
Well, that's not the point I'm actually making. The point I'm making, there's a difference. I think that the movies you mentioned do actually have value, unlike Marvel movies, and I'll tell you why. So Marvel movies actually, you know how they have inside jokes like, uh, "He's right behind me, isn't he?" Or
Is that
"That just happened."
an actual quote from a Marvel film? Because I've seen that
Uh,
referenced so many times. Where is that? Where is that from? Oh, it's from a
well,
bunch. It's from so many things. Oh, Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder doesn't count. Nobody. That's just a bad movie. No, but Marvel movies, I'm not saying have intrinsic value. I'm saying that the later ones absolutely don't. But the people forget that there are certain films in that franchise, like Iron Man or Captain America or Ant-Man or like the newer one, Thunderbolts. Those ones are good. Yeah, sure. For every one of those, because of the recent batting streak they've been on, where it's just been blunder after blunder with uh what was that? Eternals, that was garbage. Black Widow, that was garbage. Thor: Love and Thunder, pure, unadulterated trash. Both of the Captain Marvel films were not good. Right? All of those suck. But let's not pretend like it wasn't fun to watch Iron Man in that first film.
I mean, it was fun, but there is limited emotional value you get when you follow a formula.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but it
I
only
I
it
see most Marvel.
when it started it wasn't a formula, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Wait. Then they after those movies, then they tried to copy the formula of Iron Man, Spider Man, and all the Spider Man. The few some the Spider Man movies with Tom Holland and uh, well, what's the name? I
Those
forgot.
uh Z
Not Garfield, not Garfield.
Maguire,
Yeah, the original Tobey Maguire
those are
movies are,
good.
yeah, they are good.
Pizza time. The Andrew Garfield ones I don't like. The Tom Holland ones are sort of okay. But
The
look,
Andrew Garfield ones are
let's
okay.
not act
I'd
like
say
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man isn't peak.
it is.
That is Kino. Like where he's like, it's the human spider. He got my name wrong. And it's like, I don't care. Just go out there, kid. It's look, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films are great. I am all f but I guess my wider point is I'm all for people saying this film was good, this film was bad. What I'm not all for is people getting stuck in the trappings of genre and assuming that just because, oh, this is a superhero film, so this is going to be really bad, or this is like another or like, oh, this is some sort of art house black and white film, it must be really good.
It must be
Like
really boring.
people feel
It
the
will be
like
more. It will be very boring most of the time
for some reason
when it's an art
people
house film.
and for some reason people who are like really pretentious about films seem to think that if they acknowledge that the first Iron Man is good, it's going to make it suddenly better than and like than why can I think of this? It's going to make it better than Oppenheimer. Okay, no, Oppenheimer is way better than Iron Man, and the two can both be good, just on different scales of good.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, Oppenheimer is not good at all.
What? I okay.
So
Well, we're approaching the 1 hour mark, so that's not going to be a conversation for this show. Also, because I don't want to expose anyone else in the world to your crappy opinion that Oppenheimer is good. It's not Christopher Nolan's best work, right? Because that's a very difficult
yeah,
bar to clear, but it's certainly still a good film. Anyway, we are approaching the 1 hour mark, right?
yep.
So we are going to have to end soon. But before we do, what do you want to say to people, to the world, to every single person? Every single person in the world listens to this show, by the way, all of them. So
The whole world,
what do you want to say
the whole,
to the population of the world?
just think, think, and use that thinking to to brighten someone else's day.
That is fire. That is fire. That's a way better ending than other people have given. Some people have been really crap. I know. But yeah, well, thank you for coming on. We did get a bit sidetracked just talking about movies, but
Well,
it was a
that
but if
that's what
anything,
you get when you.
that's the whole point of the show. It's
That's
about
what you
it's
get when you're
about
really enthusiastic about a topic.
exactly. That's the whole point of the show. It's about being enthusiastic. It's about getting sidetracked because there's beauty in getting sidetracked because it means that you actually at least got somewhere. You know.
We kind of
So
lost track of time, didn't
yeah,
talk about maybe everything we wanted to talk about, but
yeah. But you don't you. That's the beauty of the show. You know, it's not a PowerPoint presentation. It's a conversation. That that's a hell of a quote. I should write that down somewhere. But anyway, thank you for coming on.
thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm gonna stop recording right now.